Kia ora.
I was about to do it. I finally got the confidence and you took it from me. That is a good type of humour when you talk at the same time as someone. You hate when I do that because it's so
I
exhausting.
hate it. This is the Ground Down. Welcome back. This is Nah, you take it too far, that's why I hate it. No, actually, you actually sound off in a bad mood now. No, Toni!
This is episode 5. We are talking about humour and comedy and how we are not funny enough to be making a podcast because our sense of humour is dry.
Honestly, I think it's hilarious that we have made this and it's pretty much all about our personalities and our opinions. And who gave us the confidence to think that we were funny enough to do this?
We film stuff and we'll sit there looking at me like, that is gold. That's going viral. And then we post it and you know what? Weirdly enough, 34 views. 34 views. So that's what we're talking about today, about how do you decide that you're qualified? How do you decide that you're funny?
Also, what is humour? What do you define as humour?
Literally.
I think I can name a lot of things and people that other people find funny that I don't find funny. It's so subjective, you know?
Right? And circumstantial.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can be like, I find that person funny, but that's because we work together and like the working vibe is really crack up.
And then you wouldn't expect them to be funny because, you know, workmate, and then all of a sudden cracking jokes left, right and centre.
Literally. But if you met them just like hanging out, you probably wouldn't think they were that funny.
Or if someone premises, this person's really funny, you're expecting high things. They walk in, they don't really crack a joke, or they say something that's a bit off, you're like, oh, well, clearly not as funny as I am.
The pressure is on. That's such a good one. Is the amount of times you'd be like, yeah, meet my friend, she's really crack up, and then you're like, shit.
My hay fever's popping up in this room. I think that there's something in the air.
Who?
There's love in the air.
It's funniness. Humour's in the air.
I also just want to premise, I'm getting over sickness. I know.
It's been a hard time.
For me. It's okay though. I'm being brave.
Thank you for being so brave. We think about being funny and humour in a weird way that I don't think everyone does. And we've discussed this about how you and I are actively thinking of jokes. You more than I am. I'm going to give that to you. And because you asked one time, you were like, do people think of funny things and just choose not to say them? Or are they not even thinking of funny things? And I don't really know what the answer is.
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's a classic situation that we have talked about in so many of the episodes, and it always references to something. You kind of like pigeonhole yourself into the kind of person that you are in the group. So sometimes
you take a role.
Yeah, you take a role, right? So sometimes you'd be like, oh, I'm the funny one in this group, or whatever. So if you're in your mind the funny one, you're constantly being like, okay, what am I going to say that everyone's going to get, you know, the laughs out of and all that kind of stuff. It's like always on your mind,
right? Because you feel like you have to take that role. But then there's that whole thing of like, there's almost a pyramid of who takes it above you. So you almost have to decide in every group situation whether it's you that's taking the role or if someone else, you're going to give it to them.
Yeah.
As in, I think in our flat, because we're all kind of like performers almost, each time it's like a competition of who's going to take, like who's being the funny one tonight. Yeah. And sometimes it's not always a solo performance, sometimes it's like we're doing this as a duo. So we'll walk into a room and we're on fire because we've been in funny moods, and then we'll come in and we're like, we're doing this as a performance.
I know, sometimes I feel bad in that situation though, because if you're finding something so funny, but no one else is quite getting it.
Yeah.
It's almost like, oh, like, I'm so sorry, but I will continue to cry laugh.
It's the worst thing because I hate being on the other side of it when you're just not getting it. And like, you can see that two people are like having their moment and you're like, I just can't crack into, you know, I'd be faking it if I cracked into it.
Yeah.
But I also know it's gone the other way. Like, I remember us being on FaceTime to someone and you and I had like got our joke. It was about the term harmless.
Oh yeah.
And like, we're just dying and couldn't stop laughing. And the other person is just kind of like,
and also, like, with the screen between, it's like, it's really hard to get context or whatever, like, oh gosh.
Right?
So if you're talking about, like, playing that role, another aspect of that is changing for the people that you're around. So, like, kind of tailoring the audience to who you think is going to laugh.
Tailoring your content for the audience.
Yeah, content. And that is, like, in essence, I think, what humour is. Understanding someone else and what makes them laugh.
And so sometimes you have to tick, you want to get a whole room laughing. This is like, we're trying to be comedians. Yeah. Is you kind of tick, like, my little cousin's there, I can think of, like, something easy. Okay, poo-poo, wee-wee, bum-bum. She's laughing.
That is your go-to.
Then go for something witty that the poo-poo, wee-wee, bum-bum kid won't understand, but their mum will. And all of a sudden you've got mum and poo-poo,
you're playing both sides.
Then you get your auntie who's got, like, a crack-up silly laugh. As soon as you've got her laughing, she's doing the silly laugh. So actually, people are laughing because of her silly laugh, and it's not even your funniness.
But it looks like it's you.
You've successfully played the room.
gosh, that was brilliant.
I know, right? That's great. Like,
oh my gosh. So then it comes down to the fact that, and we both talk about the fact we do it. I mean, it's quite exposing that we're saying that we do this.
it's cringe as fuck.
But it is true. Like, before I enter a room, sometimes I'll think about who's in there and I'll be like, okay, how am I doing this? What's my plan of attack? So what do I do today? So kind of like, okay, supermarket, yeah, sort of homeless man. Who's my audience? Drove my car, like I almost crashed it. Fuck. Gosh, no, okay, I'm just gonna go with mum yelling at me. Yeah, no, that actually, like, in reflection is actually embarrassing. That's so bad.
And obviously we're being dramatic, it's not quite like that, but it also kind of is. So what would be some techniques? Let's run through types of humour.
Okay.
When you're using them, what's the audience, and like, what are your go-tos?
Okay, so, new friends, and we've talked about this, it's always self-deprecating.
Classic.
Like, you just, because I feel like it makes people comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
People aren't so, like, uptight and like, oh, like, is this, like, what are the boundaries?
Yeah.
If you set the boundaries to be like, I literally weed myself, everyone's gonna be like, perfect, I'm so relaxed now.
Right. And you put yourself down, you're putting them up in the way because they're like, thank God I didn't weed myself.
Yeah.
It's her. You've taken that job of being the one who peed themselves, and then you're fine.
Yeah. But then it's also sometimes it's gone wrong for me and I've gone a little bit too far. It's a family gathering, I'm meeting an auntie or something for the first time. You know, family is always a tricky one because you never quite know
your
where you
audience.
stand. And I've gone for the full of poo-wee, you know, vaginal discharge or something. And everyone's just been like,
this is actually your grandfather's funeral, please. Wrong place. That's when you've got to think of other forms of humour. We know when it's not self-deprecating that's going to work the same. What else would you go for?
Well, I feel like that's a good entry to meeting new people. I think we'll cordon that off for the meeting new people. And then sometimes also, if you're feeling a little bit... It's also tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand as well. So, like, if you're feeling a little bit like you're boasting yourself up a little bit too high, you can cut yourself back down.
Bring yourself down.
It's kind of sad, though, eh?
You're right, that is a New Zealand specific thing, that like, if everyone's congratulating you for something amazing you did, be like, well, I might have say something kind of embarrassing, and then it's like, oh, she's not top shit, because she almost shat herself.
So other types of humour, I would say, like, witty is always, I mean...
a dream.
I think witty humour, someone who can just, like, snap back at a line that someone else has said, is smart. The fastest kind of brain.
I wish I was witty.
Yeah.
Like, people who make smart things, I sit there in awe of them and go, that was such a smart joke. And then I also feel a little bit smart that I got it, you know, when you get it, because probably often they go over my head because I'm a ding-ding. But,
don't I just cut myself down.
The self-deprecation.
You're a tall poppy.
Yeah, thank you. And then that's like just so genius. But I don't even know how you learn to be witty. I think you just have to be a smart person.
But no, I can think of examples where we've both been witty.
Okay, give it to me.
No, but there's like I think the smartest type of witty humour, and the thing that like you need to remember when you're like in a situation you want to say something funny, you've kind of got to be active listening for the whole conversation, because the smartest stuff is when you reference something that's already been said and bring it back to that moment, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's so funny. And that's the linking between it.
It's also best when you know people in the room, because you can reference something from the past. So it's sort of like, and we know you like chocolate. And then everyone knows about the time that Daniel ate chocolate and he pooed himself.
Why are we doing so much toilet?
Opposite of that is super lazy senses of humour. And I think I can think of a couple of examples that both you and I would go for. So one that I would like to do is I like to scare people. Hide around the corner, scare them, an easy laugh, everyone's laughing.
Everyone except the person that was scared.
Nah, they end up giggling too, even if it's in a slightly scared way. I have an album in my phone of every time I've videoed scaring people, and there's like just literally maybe 50 of them, because it's just such a go-to. But the problem is that's another know your audience. Like, don't do it to your grandma who's about to have a heart attack. It's a prank sense of humour.
So we were talking a little bit about pranks before filming, you know. We were just...
breaking the fourth wall right now.
I know. Hopefully you're okay with this. And talking about the fact that sometimes like pranks can go too far. And I think in our generation we watched videos like, I don't know, Team 10, Jake Paul, like, and David Dobrik, where they would just go so far with the prank that it was almost like you weren't really watching for like the funniness of it, you were watching for the shock factor, and that's what they were trying to get, and it was just like, this is like, morally, I was like, should I even be watching this kind of vibes? This is like gone too far. People are actually getting hurt.
Yeah. Because people get emotionally hurt too. Because I think you prank someone that something bad's happened and nothing bad's actually happened, so they feel better. Or they go the other way around. They say, like, say you're trying to get pregnant, prank them, oh my god, I'm pregnant, and then you're like, I'm not, and then they just end up being like, I was really excited about that.
Yeah. And then there's like harmless pranks. We were talking about one before this. It's New Year's Eve, okay? Everyone's so excited, you know, vibing, we're all waiting for the time to come.
Countdown.
You secretly change the time on your phone to like past 12, and then you find someone and be like, oh my god, like how's the countdown? Like did you
do a news kiss?
Yeah, and then they'll be like, oh I missed it, and then you'll be like, no. And then like tell them the time and be like, I can't believe it.
So they're feeling stressed. It's not too big, they're not gonna have a heart attack, they're just a bit stressed.
They missed a vital moment in humanity.
And so then they're gonna have a little moment, oh my god. Then you can relieve them by saying, I'm kidding, still got 10 minutes, do you want to be my New Year's kiss? And then you've got the perfect pickup line sorted.
Yeah, you've always got to turn it back around to finding your mans.
Because that's what's always on the mind.
Oh god.
But that's brilliant, right? That's a great prank.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
If I'm
no one's hurt. It ends with them being happy and relieved, and almost you've done them a favour.
Yeah.
Like, as in they end being like, oh, thank gosh, thank you. And
Yeah.
actually, you're the person who's brought the harm on them in the first place, but you've mentally manipulated them into thinking you've been the good person.
So you are a horrible person, and pranks are just Bruh. No pranks.
Okay.
Anyway.
Sarcasm.
Yes.
There's the saying, sarcasm is the lowest form of wit. Is it? Sometimes sarcasm's great.
I think it depends on which context.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even know what sarcasm means, and I just don't think I quite grasp it. I know I do get it because I've never been in a situation where I've been like, "Ooh, you're being sarcastic," didn't catch that. But I also think that sometimes I'm
But
like...
you have or haven't been in that situation?
I don't think I have. No, I haven't.
Oh, okay, because I've got the opposite perspective.
That you have.
I often experience someone, maybe they're like a bit older than me or I've just met them so I don't get their humour, and they'll be saying something like, oh, that was really interesting, or like, that smells good, or about my cooking or something like that, and I'll actually have to be like, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not, and that makes me feel like the smallest human being, because I'm awkwardly there being like, well, I'll have to ask you, maybe like whoever's friends with them more, oh, were they being sarcastic when they said my top was nice? And then like...
Wait, yeah, I did say I haven't, but actually I have.
I've
definitely experienced that feeling of being like, wait, I don't know if that was, like, what was that?
Yeah. Because they'll be like, that top's nice. And then you'll be like,
Yeah.
I've just met you, I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't really like sarcasm.
It's scary, right?
I don't like it.
It's awkward.
Yeah.
It's like dry, sarcastic.
Deadpan.
Well, you look great today, or I've had a great day.
Yeah.
I think it's dry. If someone's like, yeah, perfect, well, that's bloody perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, ooh, it makes you feel so awkward. How's your day going? Well, actually, my fish has just died, so it's going swimmingly. And then you're like, pun?
Moving on to puns.
Yeah. Oh.
Puns are really funny, but only done well. If you do a pun badly, you've just been cringe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. The early days of David Dobrik and Eliza Koshy.
Yeah.
Their
It was all
puns.
puns, yeah.
Oh my gosh, like it was just brilliant.
Her only sense of humour was puns, but it worked.
Yeah. And it was also her delivery and the accents of the characters and like the facial expressions and everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like puns really can only work if you're doing the full shebang, you know?
Would we ever say a pun? I feel like we would. Would we say a pun?
I don't know. I think we would, but only like, it's not our go-to.
Yeah.
But also, if you establish yourself as the punny person...
You take that role.
Did you get that one?
Like funny person?
Punny.
Yeah, but like, was it the pun that it was funny, or was it...
Yeah, I have to explain it about that, but actually I feel quite
A classic that Yas does, which I don't really appreciate, is she'll just... Actually, no, I do appreciate it because I laugh at it, is I'll say something to you, like, hey, do you want to go to the gym? And then...
I know when you're going to the gym.
It actually does get me every time, because it's like your way of avoiding the question, but I'm telling you something that she doesn't need to hear. For example, like, oh, I'm actually going to make a smoothie bowl.
I'm actually going to make a smoothie bowl.
And then I feel like crap because I'm like, I shouldn't have said anything. Like, why did I tell her?
Oh, I thought you feel like
but you know what I
crap.
mean? It's like, okay, I guess I'll go have my shower now.
But I'm just trying to spread joy through laughter.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And another that's kind of similar to this is when people, I don't know how to explain this, when people are saying something that they don't care about, like, say you say, oh, you're going to write your essay, and they go, essay schmishay.
Oh, I love that. I just eat it up.
Personal jokes are another, and how humour can be circumstantial, is, you know, when you drag a joke on, maybe it's from 7 years ago, something funny happened in a funny situation, and now the new thing that makes you laugh is just remembering that funny personal thing that happened. So,
and the fact that it keeps getting referenced is just the funniest part of it all.
yeah, exactly. So it's funny to, and then you like don't have to explain it so much because everyone knows. So everyone's like, the night with the chicken, and everyone's like, chicken! Ah! But then that's when you have the biggest worry in humour is it's too internal. And we do this on the podcast, it's too internal. We get it. I don't even have to explain it anymore. New person's there, they hear night of the chicken, and they're just left out.
No, but do you remember that time? That you and Jason.
Yeah, Jason, yeah.
And you guys were in town.
When me and Jason were in town, yeah.
And you guys were so silly. It was so... Oh, wait. Oh, actually, no, that wasn't you. That was someone else.
No, but I was like at the party though. Nah, because I had a really funny weekend with Jason the weekend before, so I think I remember I did that with Jason though. It was funny, but it was with Casey that one.
Like, when you're trying to be funny or, like, making jokes, I think it's really important to, like, really commit to it. Because if you're going kind of, like, half-ass, it's never going to have the same delivery. So it honestly is down to, like, the confidence and the... like,
dedication to the joke, kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Commitment.
Or, like, you have to just not care about the awkwardness. Because there is going to be awkwardness.
Yeah.
And...
You're good at that. You own it. As in, you know that sometimes your jokes won't land and you'll get the awkwardness and you run with the awkwardness, but because you just do the jokes every time, you get a lot more good jokes. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you hold back and you're nervous that you're not going to get the right delivery, you're just never going to make a joke.
Because we even had this conversation in class once, and I was like, it was the same one that we were referencing before, where I was like, do you think people think about them and just not say them?
Yeah.
And then you're like, I think people think of a lot of jokes but wouldn't say them, but only say a couple, so their hit rate is pretty good. And then she was like, your hit rate is good as well for me, but it's only because you say so many jokes. So
Because I assume the majority of people have a little funny witty thought in their head, and they choose to keep it to themselves, because most people don't want to stop the whole room's laughter and like bring in their own, like, you know, say their own thing. People don't want to step up in that situation, and that's where it's that thing of when someone else repeats your joke funnier or says the thing you were thinking of, because sometimes the person who's prepared to say the joke, you, would be, and there's probably people in the room who are like, I was thinking the same thing, I just wouldn't have said it.
Which is wild. I always find it when someone else says something and I think, but like, wow, that's crazy and really cool.
And then I think I'm less often going to commit and be like, I'm going to take the risk of saying this joke to everyone, so then I just whisper it to you and just be like, and then you'll laugh and it's like, I could have committed to that. But you just have to learn when it's going to work and when it's not going to work. It's scary.
But yeah, because I think that, like, I think we're maybe even opposite ends of the spectrum. No, I feel like you often say jokes, like, in a public setting as well, so we're not complete opposite ends of the spectrum, but I would say that you would maybe think of more and say them, and then I would say every single joke that I ever thought.
Yeah.
And we probably have similar hit rates.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Really weird, eh?
If people make a bad joke, or you can tell they're trying to be funny, do you give them the laugh?
I give them the laugh.
I give them the laugh too.
Because if you don't give them the laugh, it's like you've made the situation awkward. It's like awkward. It's your fault. Yeah. You know? Auckland. You've made it Auckland. And nobody likes Auckland.
Because I think if you can't be the person who's making the laughs, at least be the person who's giving the laughs. Because then people still want you around. It's like,
and people think that you're a funny person because you can get the humour that they're offering.
Then there's that question, I've seen it on TikTok recently, is was it fun, like on a first date, was it fun or am I just fun and funny? Sometimes you can leave a situation and be like, that was crack up, and then you're like, hold on, like we were making it fun. So you'll think like, oh my god, I love that boy, he made me laugh so much. No, I feel like I was being funny, I made him laugh, and then we were just laughing. But at least be the person that laughs at their jokes. Because then you make it fun.
Just creating a better atmosphere, you know? Yeah. There's laughter in the air, there's a ho ho ho.
Let's practice that technique where you fake laugh until you
real laugh.
Until you real laugh. That doesn't work for me. The concept of a sense of humour is kind of confusing because everyone defines this differently. And something that we saw on TikTok and we talked about quite a bit is that, I don't know where the facts are for this, but apparently the girl asked guys what does it mean when a girl has a sense of humour? And they defined it as they laugh at my jokes.
Yeah.
So when they're seeing a girl romantically and the girl laughs at their jokes, they think she's got a sense of humour.
Like she's funny.
Whereas if you ask a girl, what does a sense of humour mean? And they think a guy has a sense of humour, it's when he makes her laugh. So it's like opposite. And so they value a guy who's actually witty and thinking of the funny things, whereas a guy values someone who's just going to laugh at their funny things. Kill all men.
I think this may be true, and maybe it's just a side of TikTok where it's like men hating, I don't know. But I do think that even if gender isn't involved, there definitely are people that think that
Define it
you're...
differently.
There's definitely different definitions of it.
And so that's the vibe of what we're saying, of be the person who's laughing at people's jokes, because then people think you're funny too, because you're part of it.
Because you never know what someone's going to define it as.
Exactly. And also if you're laughing, it shows that you get the joke, so therefore you do have a sense of humour. So I kind of get it in terms of that, because like laughing proves that you understand their wittiness, so you have a bit of a sense of humour too.
I think it's not even like one or the other. I think it's just both.
Yeah.
I think it's if we're both laughing at me, if we're both laughing at you.
Yeah.
Boom.
Because some people would think they're funny because they say funny things and think that everyone else has a bad sense of humour because they're not laughing at others. But you don't have that much good of a sense of humour if you only find your own jokes funny.
Yeah.
A good sense of humour, this is my personal definition, and I think you'd agree, is if you say funny things and people laugh at you and you can laugh at lots of people's jokes, and then you've got like this beautiful broad everyone's joy and laughter.
It's beautiful. So, a tricky thing about relationships, going back to the last episode, if you haven't watched it, go check it out, it's about relationships.
It's just a tell-all exposing episode.
Is humour in relationships. And I think, because I think sometimes I do think I'm a funny person.
No.
Sometimes I won't laugh at something that Tian has said just because I don't want to give him the laugh. And I know he does it too. And he does it in a really funny way where sometimes I'll say something funny and he can't help but laugh. And then he'll be like, wow, that was a rare hit from you. And I'm like, it wasn't a rare hit. I'm always saying funny things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh. And I feel like there is a certain power imbalance in a relationship. And I don't know if every relationship is like this. But I know that, like, I have talked to other people and it is like this for them as well. It's just that thing of, like, who's the funny one in the relationship? Who's going to take that? You know what I mean?
Who's taking the role? In our friendship, do you think you're the funny one?
No. I think... That's so... I think we have different senses of humour, but we've, like, learnt to laugh at each other's sense of humour.
Yeah.
Because it's really funny that, you know...
Yeah. In friendship, you have to do that choosing your audience thing, like when you're sending someone a TikTok, and you have to think of who's this going to land for and who's going to funny. And there's actually a bit of pressure on it too. Bro, check your phone. I just sent you such a funny TikTok.
Okay. Well, I'll be a little cheap.
Might not be that funny to you, but it was just really funny for me. Did you watch it? What did you think?
Seen better. Yeah. But yeah. Thanks for the thought though.
Nah, it was fucking shit.
There's pressure in so many situations to make it land or pick the right moment or it's all about kind of like the circumstance that the joke is told in.
Yeah.
Hard thing about TikTok is you don't sometimes know where the other person is and when they're going to open it. Like, they could open it in the middle of family dinner and it's one about, like, sexual intercourse.
And they're just kind of like, oh, fuck, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or they could be in a silly-ass mood and they'll be like, I died, that was the best TikTok ever. And you're like, oh, that was a rare hit from me.
But then sometimes you can be in a really silly, goofy mood and be like, wow, this is so funny. Send it to them, they reply like back like, what is this? And then you look back and be like, oh, I was just in a silly, goofy mood.
Then you doubt yourself. Like, it's like when you recommend a funny TV show and you're like, yeah, watch it, so crack up. And then you start being like, but I was also in a really good phase of my life and I was with my funny friend and so that was why it was funny. Might not be funny for you. Might not be funny for you.
Please be aware. What are some of the situations or moods you get into or reasons you get into a mood that really bring out the giggly? Because I find when I'm hungover, I'm way more giggly.
Hungover mornings, you're tired, so everything is funny in a hungover morning. Like the driest stuff funny.
And I don't even know why. I think maybe it's the dehydration. You're going a bit delirious.
But we would sit in a cafe having like the craziest giggles ever because you're so funny.
Another situation is where you can't laugh.
Yeah.
Like,
choir,
it's forbidden.
assembly, funeral, wedding, class meeting, I am done.
Moment of silence.
Oh my gosh.
Stop.
Not in a disrespectful way.
No, it's not. It's not. It's just there's something about that thing of being like, you can't make noise, you can't laugh.
Yeah.
That just feels like, okay, it's coming.
Some of my funniest moments is like the classic in your science room. You're sitting in the back, your science teacher's a bitch, you cannot, like, you're not allowed to laugh, and you're sitting there and someone's just like spelt a word wrong and everyone's there going, like trying not to laugh.
And I think those are some of the times that I've actually laughed the hardest.
100%.
Like, physically, like, I actually may stop breathing
Your
right
tummy
now.
hurts, you're dying.
Like, there's just, like, tears streaming down your face. Like, you're like, your face is going red, like, on the verge of passing out.
Yeah.
It's just, there's
Hilarious.
something about it.
So then the same with the hungover one, the tiredness is when you're delirious and it's like really late at night. Like I'm thinking of the other day when I came and met you and I'd been dancing all day and I was really tired and delirious and also hungover from the night before, and we just got into, like, we were in such a silly mood sitting in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Also weird setting, so you're in a new setting, you're tired, you're hungover.
There were people around, they were kind of looking, which made it even more
So
funny.
we couldn't laugh too loud because there were people there. It was a combination of all of them, and therefore it was like hilarious, crying from laughter.
So it really, humour is quite situational as
100%.
well. It can be.
And that's why, so I have a funny list where I write down all those funny things, but sometimes the moments just don't make any sense when you explain it to someone because they're so situational. So the joke was just like, da-da-da, and he da-da-da'd, and it's like, okay, but it's like, but we were hungover, tired, in a restaurant, trying to be quiet.
And our maths teacher was there.
And there was a moment of silence, and it was, we were having a choir rehearsal, and so therefore it was hilarious.
Yeah.
We should test how good we are at knowing each other's humour with a challenge.
A challenge!
Let's make a TikTok, or just a little short video, try hitting each other's humour. Are we going to put any rules on it? Does it have to be 15 seconds minimum? Or just anything? I think it's just a video.
I think it's just a video. So this is going to be interesting because it doesn't have anything to do with our humour. It is solely trying to hit the other person's sense of humour. So we're going to see how well we know each other.
Yeah.
And also...
I don't even care if you find it funny. Like, I'm just trying to think of Yasmina. Yas finds herself funniest. Like, I just genuinely think if I just videoed her for 15 seconds and then showed it back to her, she'd be like, brilliant! Like, you did the challenge so well. Because the times where I've just, like, videoed her and put her on my story, like, because I think she's being funny, she'll be like, oh my god, let's play that again. I'm so crack up. I've decided I'm going to do that one that's like, come to the party but don't bring your, like, brunette friend or whatever. Like, usually it's, like, short blonde friend or whatever. Couldn't be me. And then their response is like, why? And then it's like them being a crackhead. I need to start it like I'm like a guy who's really cool, being like, come to the party but don't bring your friend. Bearded cutie, that's the one. Holy fuck, wait till you see what I look like with this filter. I look so fire. Now we green screen videos of Yas being a fully bully.
Okay. Ignore the fit because we've been sunbathing, you know, summer coming up, and I've just been rubbing a little bit of lotion on my body because, you know, sun safety. So I'm looking a bit shiny, looking a little bit relaxed. These are actually some pyjama shorts that I found at an op shop. Honestly, if you're looking for shorts or anything of the sort, means boxers. Okay, I don't even know how I'd describe her humour. It's like a little bit immature sometimes, but then it's like also quite witty. I don't even know. Like, what's gonna make her laugh the most? I think I could film her doing stuff around the house without her noticing, like, for the rest of the afternoon, and then kind of put like some edits in. I feel like she'd find that quite funny because she'd be like, I had no idea you were filming. Okay, wait, no, actually, so Toni spends a lot of time on TikTok. I think if I look through a couple of her TikToks, maybe I'm going to look through the TikToks that she sent me because that's something that she's found funny and wants to share with me. Okay, I'm going to look through a couple of the TikToks she sent me. Oh, she sends me a lot, 17 unopened that I haven't opened. Sorry, girl. Oh, that's awkward because I don't open hers, but I still send her stuff. So she probably thinks I'm watching them being like, oh, but I actually don't watch them, so. Sorry, Maltla. Okay, so she loves Love Island. Wait, okay, she loves Love Island. Could I do like a Love Island skit, but make her like she's a member of Love Island? Wait, that could be quite funny. And I'll do like the Ian Sterling voice. So I'll be like, Antonia. Oh no, I need to get the voice way better if I'm gonna do this.
We've done our challenge. We've made our videos. How are you feeling about yours?
I'm not actually that happy with it. I didn't get enough footage.
I'm not proud either. It's a pretty impossible challenge. But if you're a content creator, every day, it's a bigger audience, not just one person, but you're thinking, what can I make right now that's going to make people laugh? Impossible. Or
right.
if you're a comedian, that's your job.
Yeah.
Show me,
right.
make me laugh.
So mine's on iMovie. Tonight on Love Island, one young single thrusts her chance at finding love. Tensions are high in the backyard, and we say goodbye to one of our islanders.
That is really random. Oh my god.
I filmed her when she wasn't looking.
Even one of the times I saw you looking when I was out on the grass, but like I just so couldn't even get that it was going to be zoomed or focused on me. I thought you were just getting like a cute moment of us playing cricket. Go.
Oh my god.
Are you ready?
Oh my god. This is violation. Okay. Yeah. That's a violation.
Like, would you let me post that publicly now?
That is really funny.
We did do an okay job.
I think we did.
Also,
we both laughed.
I think we could say anything and make each other laugh,
I know.
just because we'd just be nice. Last night we went to the Good Times Comedy Club's Fresh Comedy Night open mic. It's our first time doing anything like this, right?
First time, it was super exciting and I got a lot out of it. It was really interesting. We were able to talk to some of the comedians that got up for the open mic night afterwards. Here's what they had to say.
Did you decide that you were a funny person and qualified to do this job?
I think no comedian thinks that they're funny. They all want to prove, they all need the validation that comes from getting laughs.
If anything, it's added to my life because it makes me look at life with a more comical lens. And so it's more of like, wow, I'm suffering now. But instead of being like, oh, I'm so sad, this is so hard, like, this is hilarious.
Open mics are usually people will be trying new stuff to see, is this stuff any good? So you'll see a lot of professional comedians will do these shows and work on jokes and just change them a little bit, but little bit by little bit, until they have a workable joke for a pro show.
So how much preparation do you actually have going up there?
Not enough.
A few weeks ago, I told a joke about the Olympics, and I just said, I've been watching the Olympics lately, and someone just heckled for some reason. They said, "Do you eat pussy?"
What?
Yes.
Yo!
And I was like, yeah, but not at an Olympic level.
I'm here with Anto. He did 2 sets tonight. Same set twice. It was quite the phenomenon.
For me, it was more about doing a challenge that made me very nervous and really put me on the spot.
Yeah.
And I can't sing, so I had to think of something else.
The comedy is for me. Do you think it's made you grow as a person?
100%, yeah, definitely.
Are you feeling comfy?
I'm feeling comfortable.
Yeah. So when was the moment that you thought, like, I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna entertain a group of people?
Yeah, it was probably like 6 months before I did it. I was looking into it maybe for about 2 weeks before.
Okay. So what is your process for writing jokes? You said that you spent a little time before you decided to go up here, 6 months, 2 weeks. What were you doing in that time to prepare yourself?
Thinking about how good I'm going to be.
We had no clue what to expect, so this was all super interesting for us. Who knew that they just did it so spontaneously, and some of them just only waited like a week?
Yeah, no, honestly, it made us want to do it, and honestly, you might catch us there next week.
Next week's challenge is already decided. We're going to be up there. I reckon it's pretty doable.
So Wednesday nights, if you want to go down and catch anyone that's there, or do it yourself, it's
In
at the Good
Christchurch.
Times Comedy Club in Christchurch, and it's their open mic comedy night.
Hey, did you steal my clipper because I've lost it? Did you steal it?
Nah, it wasn't me.
Did you actually or no?
I don't know, I don't really clip my nails. They're super long right
Show
now.
me your pinkies.
No.
Did you steal my clipper? Did you actually? You clipped them!
Thanks for watching. Hope you laughed. Hope we're funny. That's the end of the episode. Do you like that? Cut. Cool. Now we can go back to not being our friends.